Wonderful. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Tidbits with Tracy. And I am so pumped about this episode because I have one of my dearest friends who is not only an inspiration to me, but to all of the women and men in the industry, but professionally and personally. So I'm so excited. But Karen, welcome. Please tell us a little bit about who you are.
Hi, Tracy. I feel the same way. We are not only colleagues, but we're also friends. And so I just love being in your presence because you're such a ray of sunshine. And given what's going on in the world today, we definitely need that. So thank you for having me. Again, my name is Karen Ellis. I'm the Chief Customer Experience Officer for the San Antonio Airport System.
So I love to hear people's backgrounds and their journeys. I mean, to get to the position you're in at a major airport is no small feat. So tell us a little bit about how you started and got to where you are.
It's amazing that over 20 plus years ago, I never would have thought I would have been in an airport environment, one, and two, to have been in this airport environment for as long as I've been in it. I started out at obviously Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Woohoo! Um, and it's really weird because I never would have imagined myself being in an airport space, in the aviation space. Um, I just happened to be, I was working when I first started my career with Mutual of Omaha, selling travel insurance way back when. And because of, I guess, my personality, I had someone from the Atlanta airport, from the city's offices, come to me, and she knew me from Toastmasters because we had been in Toastmasters together. And she was like, I have a job that you'd be perfect for. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. So I ended up working in the parking division as the assistant parking manager. And then I saw customer experience from a distance, and I thought, hmm, I like that. And I like that because I love helping people. That's my passion. I just, wake up every day. It's a prayer every day for me to be able to help somebody, make a difference in someone's life. So I went to the director that was over the area, and I said to her, I was like, I want to be in your department. She's like, well, I don't have any openings. I said, well, that's okay. I'll wait. I said, because I know it's coming. And when an opening came, I started in customer experience and been there ever since. Now, here in San Antonio, fast forward a lot of years, but I oversee public information, arts, music, and culture, government and military affairs, customer experience, the ambassador program, and I think that's it.
Girl,
But
you are
but
busy.
but if you think about it, all of those things connect, and it's anything that has the potential of having an impact on the customers that come through our airport. So all of those entities kind of flow together. Public relation is the communications piece of what's going on in the airport. Arts, music, and culture is providing entertainment for people that are coming into our airport. Military and governmental affairs. San Antonio is Military City, USA. So we have to have a relationship with our military partners and legislative partners. So it kind of all works together. And although it's 4 or 5 different units that are together, we work very closely with each other with a goal in mind to enhance the passenger experience.
That's wonderful. I mean, you have your hands full, just to
I
say,
do. I
say
do.
the least. But that leads me into my next question because customer experience, as you've mentioned, is so broad and vast. And to me, as a passenger going through, my passenger experience, customer experience really starts the morning I wake up and I head to the airport and sit in Atlanta's, 3-hour traffic to get to the airport. And
Hmm.
then, of course, the whole journey from once I get there to when I land. So, what does customer experience mean to you? What does an excellent customer experience mean?
So it's funny that you say that your experience starts when you get to on your drive to the airport. My experience for you as my customer starts before you leave home.
Wow.
because with our website we want to make sure that if you need information, you want to know about parking, you're going to do all of that before you leave home. So we want to make sure that we're giving you that information so that the positive experience starts there before you get in your car to drive to the airport. Because by the time you get there, let's say you didn't know that the parking lot was full and you rode around trying to find a parking space, and then by the time you enter the building, you're already upset. So we want to make sure that we get you before you leave home. So that experience starts there. What does it mean? What does good customer service mean to me is, something that is above and beyond my expectations. There are certain things that you just expect to be the case. And so when they're done, it's like, okay, you met my expectation. But my goal is to wow you so that you can look back and go, huh, I didn't expect that. So now that makes me feel like, oh, somebody appreciates me because they did something above and beyond. And then when I see that light bulb go off, or when I see that passenger that's walking through the building that has this question mark on their face, and I'm like, well, hey, can I help you with anything? They're like, oh, do I look confused? Kind of, sort of. So I'm just here to help. But not only am I going to give you that answer, if at all possible, I'm going to walk with you till you get to where you're going, not just point in a direction and say, hey, go down that way and turn this way. Hey, let's walk together, whatever I'm doing. So that to me says you're important to me enough for me to take a moment to get you where you need to go, because I want to make sure that you get there and have a great experience getting there.
Wow, that's powerful. And that just shows you how you really do truly care about people walking in and out of your airport to take time out of your day, who's managing 1,500 things, to walk a passenger to their gate. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
Uh, so, Karen, if an airport is trying to build a customer experience department or to just improve or enhance their customer experience, what are some suggestions or pieces of advice you would offer them?
Voice of the customer.
Wow.
Listen to the voice of your customer. Know what your customer is thinking, know what your customer expects, and give them more than what they expect. Don't think about what you want or what you would like. Ask the question. And people want you to hear them, and it makes it even better when you can give them what they're asking for and or go above what they're asking for. So a lot of people get caught up, and I had some experiences with this in the past, where they've wanted to do something because I think this is the right thing to do. And I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to say this airport, but this airport wanted to improve the customer experience. So they thought, upper management thought, we're going to spend $1 million doing, and that may be a little bit of an exaggeration on the dollar amount, but we want to do this project because we know that once we do this project, it's going to enhance the level of service. It's going to enhance the satisfaction scores. And I said, are you sure? They're like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do it. So they went ahead and they did it, but the scores didn't change. And they're looking at me like, well, why didn't the scores change? I said, well, did the customer tell you that this is something that they would like to see or like to have? Or was it something that you took upon yourself to say, I want to do this because I know that this, and this person was adamant about knowing that this was going to increase the scores. And then when it didn't, don't look at me to make a miracle happen, because
They're looking to point fingers.
my customers didn't tell me that that's what they wanted. And yes, you spent the money and it's great to have the improvement, but it wasn't something that was on their radar.
Wow.
So voice of the customer is extremely important.
And how does San Antonio hear and listen to the voice of the customer?
Ooh, that's a great question. So we do satisfaction surveys quarterly. We do mystery shops. We do social media inquiries. We put questions out there to say, hey, what would you like to see? What would you like to hear? And We're always doing focus groups to pull people together saying, we're thinking about doing this. What are your thoughts? Is this something we should consider? Is this something that we shouldn't consider? So in taking that information, most especially from our satisfaction surveys, we go to the units, we go to the airlines, we go to TSA and say, here's what your customers are saying about you, about your area. And then we charge them with identifying ways of improvement before the next survey so that our customers can see that we not only listen to you, here's what we've done, or here's what we're doing to try to meet what you've asked us to do, what you said you wanted to see, what you wanted to hear, versus, again, us taking it upon ourselves. So action items from all satisfaction surveys are completed, and we make sure that we check them, we monitor them, and we follow up. We follow up with customers. I love when a customer sends an email or sends a complaint, because we get them, or comment, whatever they use the website to send that, and they put their phone number in there, and I will pick up the phone and I'll call them, and they'll say, wait, you're an actual person? You're actually calling me? Well, yeah, we are. And they're amazed, just like your face. They're amazed to go, wait a minute, you called? And I want to hear them. I want them to know that we received it. Here's what we're doing. Here is what we can't do, but we just wanted to make sure that you knew that we're listening to you.
Oh, I mean, cheesy as it is, that gives me chills because that's something that is so unique to you guys, to your leadership, to your organization, is that follow through. And I think a lot
Absolutely.
of airports, again, no names, a lot of airports will go out on the limb, they'll do the satisfaction ratings, they'll do the feedback, all of that, but then they just take that data, they benchmark it, and then they move on with their
Yep.
lives. And the
Yep.
fact that you guys are following through and having that personal touch with the passenger, calling
Yes.
them, just being transparent with what's
Yes.
realistic and what's not. It goes so far, and that's so admirable of you guys.
We own it because
Yeah.
we're not perfect.
Yep.
And if we're not doing something that we should be doing, one of the things I always ask is, what can we do to make you satisfied, to make this experience better
Yep.
for you? And they're like, well, you could do this, this, and this. Well, I could do 1 and 2, but probably not 3, because under the guidelines and mandates, we can't do that. But at least we can meet you halfway. How about that?
Wow, that transparency goes a long way. It goes a long way.
Mhm.
So, one last question for you because you have
Oh,
a lot
we
of
were at
things
the end.
to do.
Wow, I love this.
I know, isn't it fun? We'll have to do this again.
Yes.
So you are an incredible leader.
Thank you.
I'm not the only one that feels that. You have made such an impact to so many people into this industry. And just out of curiosity, what would be one lesson that you've learned in your professional career that you think would help others?
And it's going back to the thing that I always say is, don't think about what you want. Ask the question, if possible, ask the customer if possible what they want.
Yeah.
Because my expectation may be totally different from what a customer is looking for. And I want to give you what you feel as though is important, what you want versus what I want, because they can be totally different. And I'm even thinking about, from my perspective, if I'm going somewhere, I'd rather have somebody ask me, well, what can I do to make you satisfied, versus, I may I give you one more example?
No,
Just
please,
one example.
please. I don't want it to end.
I was at a hotel, and it was a 4-star hotel. Not going to say the name, not going to say the city.
Mhm.
But in that hotel, I was sitting on the bed reading a book, and I saw a rodent go across the floor. Right? Yeah, right, right. So I immediately went downstairs. I didn't call. I went downstairs to the front desk and I said, hey, I want to speak with the manager, and I want to tell him what happened or whatever. And then when I started talking to the manager, he was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. I said, I want to be moved from this tower to another tower, not the same tower, not a different floor, because he could come downstairs where I am or whatever. So I said, I want to move to another tower. And they were like, okay. I said, okay, I'll go upstairs and I'll pack up my things. Just let me know which room, whatever. So when I got back upstairs, I heard this knock on the door, and I'm like, okay, is he knocking on the door? What's going on? So it was room service. And the guy was like, well, it's room service. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't order room service. So he said, well, the manager wanted me to bring up these nuts and chocolate and a bottle of wine. So I said, while I appreciate that, I'm going to say no. The only thing I want to do is move to another room. But think about it. Had I been allergic to nuts, had I been an alcoholic,
Mhm.
had I been, any kind of, and while it was a grand gesture, it was a way for service recovery for them, you know, ask me what I want versus sending that. And I tell that story all the time, and people are like, yeah, you're right. I said, a simple question would have been, well, what can we do to make you satisfied? And I told them, I said, they finally did ask that question. And I said, if you can give me some extra miles, that's perfect for me. Points, that's perfect for me. And they were like, yeah, something that simple. But you have to ask the question and not assume that you know what's best.
Ugh.
Again, it was a great gesture for their service recovery, but it missed the mark for me.
Absolutely. That personal touch, that getting to know your customer, getting to know who is staying in your hotel or who's traveling through your airport, that is the number one lesson. Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Mic drop, Karen. Mic drop.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well,
But
thank
yeah,
you so, so much. I will let you go. I know you are busy, but I so appreciate your time and your
thank you for
energy
having
and
me.
just your leadership to me and to everyone around you. So thank you. And I
Thank you,
really hope to
Tracy.
see you soon.
I appreciate your kind words. Have a great day and be safe.
Absolutely. You as well.